My name is Monica DeCesar. I'm finishing my first year at Naropa University as a junior in the Peace Studies program. I've been many versions of an activist from a very young age. I wrote a comic about a superhero who obstructed construction sites in the name of Hawaiian conservation when I was 8. Stood on the picket line with my teachers during their strike in the 5th grade, and have been annoying my conservative family with musings of criminal justice reform long before I had graduated high school. I came to Naropa after drowning in the service industry for many years, working several jobs to make ends meet and desiring so badly to commit significant time to the causes and initiatives I care about. I wanted to expand my experience and skills as an advocate and accomplice in the restorative practices that could change the world, and maybe even comfortably pay my bills someday. Over winter break, I met with Candace Walworth, my Peace Studies guru of Naropa, asking how I could really make the best use of my time at Naropa and in Boulder. I was soon introduced to a Naropa alum who coordinates the Restorative Justice Program in Boulder's Center for Prevention and Restorative Justice, and was one of the lead trainers for the RJ Facilitator Program. I had been reading about restorative justice as it was used in indigenous communities in New Zealand and the Americas, and the opportunity to apply those principles within the criminal justice system was something I couldn't pass up. Since this introduction, I have done several trainings with leaders of the RJ program, expanding my skills as a facilitator and active community member. Attending volunteer meetings and participating in the many trainings that this office provides has taught me so much about myself. The work of a restorative justice facilitator is closely related to the work we do at Naropa. Transform yourself, transform the world. We have to know ourselves from the tone of our voice to the biases we hold. The goal is to repair harm, and in an effort to do so, we hope to remove the opportunity to cause further harm to any situation or person. This training in particular has been a wonderful education in the subtle skills that aid in a reparative process. Active listening, pacing of a conversation, validating and affirming stories, facilitating amends making, and coordinating agreements to repair harm. These kind of skills are directly applied to the process of peace building within families and even between countries. I've begun to see how the principles of the restorative justice process can be applied to our everyday lives. Restorative justice is not exclusive to the criminal justice system. These programs exist in schools, workplaces, and community programs around the country, and Colorado's restorative justice is not exclusive to the DA's office. As I moved through this training, I started to research other programs, and what sets Boulder's program apart is that it operates alongside a diversion program designed to keep people away from harsh sentencing and offering alternative opportunities to repair harm. While the restorative justice process is centered around the needs of those harmed by a crime, diversion offers the same attention to the needs of the offender. Needs may be varying types of therapy, substance recovery groups, improved school attendance, family dialogue, and beyond. Any initiative that restores equity to those who have caused harm and those who have been harmed is a practice worth elevating. It is my desire to continue to participate in this process, and my education is certainly not over. As part of my internship, I also worked with various faculty members and mentors outside of Naropa to dive into the practice of storytelling as social justice. I find myself wanting to tell the stories of those who policy directly affects and those who are experiencing harsh conditions or reparative processes to begin the process of sharing solutions and encouraging participation from communities both large and small in those solutions. There is so much that has come from the process of writing about the initiatives I care about and telling the stories of what I'm doing, seeing, and learning. First of all, writing is freaking hard. I regrettably relate to the emotional stress that is expressed from writers who spend hours staring at a blank page. However, in my case, the page is rarely blank. My struggle is rooted in the challenge of which story needs to be told, or in more common terms, What's my angle? Intention is everything, especially when the goal is more than just telling the story, but influencing the reader to act and giving them direct instructions to participate in opportunities for that direct action. The discipline of continuously returning to the same piece and reworking it in 1,000 ways is a true art form and test of human sanity. Of course, anything we care about deeply can be held in such a frame. I just hope that the picture I paint will positively contribute to the initiatives and intentions that could impact societies at large. While I have learned a tremendous amount about the criminal justice system, dialogue techniques, framing a story, and the writing process itself, there are a few key things that come to mind when I think about how I'm going to refine my strengths and transform my weaknesses. Curiosity has always been a curse for me, but in this case, it works to my advantage. It seems like there is always a story to write when I remain curious about the world. In the same light, my mind and heart open when I am able to hold that curiosity toward all beings, even those I most disagree with. Curiosity is also an antidote to bias. As RJ facilitators, when we make an effort to learn our biases, we offer an opportunity for genuine truth to be revealed without force or interpretation. Similarly, when we're able to open to another person's story, their authentic truth comes through, and it makes the story that much more relatable. It is my hope that I can continue to improve my writing to motivate participation in the reader. I would love to really know the many ways to tell the many stories that could encourage our citizens to participate in a collective vision of our world. The discipline that is required of a writer of this kind is very real. I find myself feverishly note-taking at every opportunity. I have filled 2 notebooks this semester with notes from workshops, events, conversations, and brainstorms. Of course, we can take great notes, but if we never look at them once they are written down, what is there to take notes for? I've learned more about my personal process and what is or isn't helpful to gathering cohesive thoughts worth sharing. Part of this is getting all the clutter out of my mind. Writing every day, even when it is nonsense or angsty poetics, is all incredibly helpful to refining what is valuable. And finally, listening. Listening is a skill. Oftentimes, I'm already translating what is being said into my own language, and the ability to receive someone's truth as their truth without your projection or interpretations is something that should be integrated throughout our years in school. In all the varying ways that one might need to listen, it is a skill that is a continued practice over the course of our lives. I am certainly changed after this semester. There is so much that has been brought into my awareness for the first time, and so much that I'm learning to take beyond concept and put into practice. I have been encouraged to participate in my community in other ways and to learn about the programs that exist within the Boulder and Denver area. The people I have met within these programs and meetings are incredible advocates for a diverse and inclusive society, and it is a needed example of why we must all continue to come together, share our skills, organize our information, and act. May we all continue to refine ourselves so we might participate in the collective turning of our world.